You know, there's 100 areas to live in Bangkok. I think there's 16 million people in the area. You could live 10 miles in that direction, or, you know, plenty of hardcore expats. They move here and they all seem to move to the other side of the river, Thonburi area. I'll say 99% of guys are normal, but there is that 1% of ugliness, and they stand out 10,000 fold because they're that one jackass, you know, in a bar that's insulting the Thai staff or throwing money at them or whatever. But yeah, Thai women are incredible. Here in Bangkok especially, it's more career-oriented women, I guess, from all over Thailand. This is the major city, so this is where they come to go to college, or if they went to college somewhere else, they come here to work at a large company.
Hey, what's up, Herd? It's JJ, the Lonely Bull in Asia, back in the Philippines in BGC, Bonifacio Global City, back in my condo. I just got back from a trip to Thailand for a few weeks, and I'll be posting more videos on that. But this particular video, I met with a friend of mine, Joe. He is a YouTuber there in Bangkok, been there about 2.5 years. He's got a channel called Eager Expat, and you can check that channel out. I'll put it in the description below. But I talked to him about the good and the bad and the ugly of Thailand and Bangkok. So if you're thinking about maybe an alternative to living or visiting the Philippines, and Bangkok or Thailand is on your short list, check this video out. It may come of interest to you. So we're going to kind of contrast and compare Thailand to the Philippines. Let's do that right now with Beers with the Boys. Hello, Herd. It's JJ, the Lonely Bull in Asia, and I am in Bangkok, Thailand. And I've got a good friend of mine, Joe. He's got a YouTube channel called Eager Expat, and we're at the rooftop of O'Shea's. It's early afternoon, but it's Beer with the Boys.
Cheers.
Yeah. Hey. Welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, JJ.
So, Joe, I know your story, but my viewers probably don't. So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Yeah, I lived in San Diego my whole life, retired mailman, did about 33 years, hitch in the Navy, and I'm big time traveler. So I've just traveled the world most of my life. I stopped counting at 100 countries.
Wow.
And I've been to Thailand 6-7 times over the years. And it was between Thailand and Baja, Mexico, to retire early and go live cheap. And I just pulled the trigger, came over here, never looked back.
Wow. How long have you been here now?
2.5 years.
2.5 years? Okay.
Yeah, thereabout.
So today what I want to do is I want to talk about, first of all, I want to talk about your channel, promote that, Eager Expat, and I'll put it down below in the description.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
But tell me a little bit about your channel, what you do, and how did you decide? Now, I know you didn't start your channel here in Thailand. I know the background of that.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about how your channel got started.
Well, I just wanted to do YouTube for fun, as a hobby, keep me busy in retirement. And I think that's important, you know, to have something to do in retirement besides just hitting the bars every night.
Right.
So it keeps me busy. But I started the channel maybe 2 years before I retired, and called it the Eager Expat because I thought it was going to be a channel like preparing to be an expat. And it turned into, I had Mexico 10 miles from where I lived. So it turned into just going to Mexico channel and perhaps living in Mexico. I showed some different places you could live down there. And so it kind of turned into a Mexico channel. Then when I came over here, it turned into a Bangkok channel because that's where I live. And the type of channel it is just really day-to-day living. It's not so much a nightlife channel, that kind of thing. I show some of that, but it's very G-rated, just to keep YouTube happy. And I'm not really interested in sticking a camera in every lady's face, you know. Plus, the customers in many of these red light areas, they don't want a camera.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's not my channel. It's more about getting a bank account, getting a condo, maybe live in this neighborhood. The main Sukhumvit here, and that's kind of expat central in Bangkok. I mean, you can get into you know, there's 100 areas to live in Bangkok. I think there's 16 million people in the area. You can live 10 miles in that direction, or, you know, plenty of hardcore expats. They move here and they all seem to move to the other side of the river, Thonburi area.
Okay.
It's a little quieter over there. It's affordable compared to here. This is probably the most expensive area. Like, you're from BGC, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the most expensive area of the Philippines, the most expensive area of Manila. Well, this area where we're sitting is probably that for Bangkok.
Right.
Although I know I've been to BGC and it's nice, and then when you get out of it, it's less nice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you can go 10 miles in any direction and it's still pretty nice here.
Yeah, there's really no bubbles. Like BGC, I consider a bubble. You know, you get outside of that BGC bubble and then you get into the real Manila or real metro area.
Right.
And yeah, you don't really see that here. I mean, I'm sure there are those pockets.
Yeah, I've been criticized by one person. She likes to criticize over and over when I'll say, this is an authentic Thai building. I'm not meaning to say it that way, but I guess what I'm saying is, like, this really isn't an expat building. It's a Thai building.
Right.
And by that, I mean a wet bath. Like, you go into any of these buildings around here, they're going to be to Western standards. They're not going to have an oven. None of these buildings will have an oven.
Right.
Fancy ones will. I mean, that building right there is, you can't see it on camera here, but I'm pointing to a building that's probably $3,000 or $4,000 a month.
Wow.
Now, that's going to have wolf ovens and on, but that's not the norm.
Right.
Most of these places, most of these regular buildings, they're going to have a
2-burner hot plate.
yeah, but they're going to have you walk in, there's a toilet and a separate shower and all. A Thai traditional building is going to have a toilet with a shower right over the toilet.
Right.
And it's a wet bath. And that's fine. It's cheap living. But when I'm walking down the street and pointing out this building over that building, I'll say, this is a Thai traditional building. And this one person, they're all Thai buildings. They're all in Thailand. It's like, settle down. I'm not meaning to say it that
same
way.
troll I have. But
She's a female.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like my female comments and subscribers, but I don't know. She gets on me about a lot of things, but I let her have her say.
Okay. So let's talk about, I know a lot of my subscribers are interested in knowing more about Thailand and Bangkok and whether or not they should move here or, you know, leave the Philippines and move here, or leave the U.S. or the West and move here.
Sure.
So let's talk about, I want to get into the nitty gritty. I want to do the good, the bad, and the ugly about Thailand, and in particular Bangkok.
Sure.
And you've been to other places in Thailand too. So
I've never lived anywhere else, but I've
but
stayed.
you can speak to it a little bit.
Yeah, I've stayed
But
2
let's
weeks.
focus on Bangkok. So tell me, what's good about living in Bangkok?
Well, the best thing, in my view, about Bangkok is it's a city like New York City or Chicago, or I've been to Sydney. I've been to other large cities. It has everything a large city is going to have at 1990s prices.
Okay.
So it's like stepping back in time.
Right.
I grew up in San Diego, but I was 90 miles from Los Angeles, and I was in New York City often. It's the same vibe here to me as New York City, but with prices I remember from the 90s, not 2024.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the main good thing for me is $500 rent in a nice apartment, and yeah, drinking and all. You can drink affordably in places around town. This is a good affordable place.
Now I've noticed that, for you say $500 for rent.
Yeah, can be
The same price in the Philippines in BGC. You get less, you get a smaller unit, and it's not as nice. I've noticed the condominiums here, the units are nicer, they're built better, the furnishings are nicer. In the Philippines, most of the furnishings aren't necessarily great. I mean, you can find those things, you can find those places, but you're going to pay a little higher price for it.
right.
Here, I've noticed, looking at condos, that you can get more bang for your buck in Thailand and Bangkok than you can in Manila.
I don't have a lot of experience with Manila. I've stayed in Airbnbs and hotels in Manila, but I've never rented an apartment there. I've heard the same thing. I don't know. There's one guy, he goes back and forth, which is, I forget, but he was saying the same thing. He was, what's the fancier part of Cebu? Something city?
IT Park.
IT Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was basically saying, he goes, now I'm paying Airbnb prices, so that's always more. But he was saying I'm paying closer to $1,000 a month for what I would get in Pattaya, which is about 80 miles from here with an ocean view. He goes, that would be $450 for this same place.
Right.
You know, so he kind of said the same thing. For the higher end in the Philippines, it's like the average price here.
So what are some other prices of things that are cheap here?
Well, I am lucky. I was a retired mailman, so I have my Blue Cross insurance, and it works here. And oftentimes I'll go for a small procedure, and the cash price is lower than my deductible.
Oh, wow.
And that's at the best hospital in town. I mean, I think President Obama visited the King of Thailand in the hospital I go to. It's Bumrungrad. It's oftentimes in the conversation one of the best hospitals in Asia, and it's half a mile from here.
Right.
I mean, Thai folks would be like, that's for the rich people, you know.
Yeah.
Go over here and spend $40, and that's true. At Bumrungrad, it might be $85 and my copay might be $100. So it's like, I guess that's a positive, that even if you're paying cash, which I probably still recommend having some kind of insurance, you know, traveler's insurance, whatever. But even if it's just a cash situation, you're not going to get raked over the coals on dental and healthcare. Yeah. Quality work. I don't know. I again watch some of these videos with the Philippines, and it's like, you need to go to St. Luke's or whatever. They're talking about one hospital, where here in Bangkok, there's 10 in the conversation. Bumrungrad, Bangkok Hospital, and Bangkok Hospital is in every large city.
Okay.
Bumrungrad, there's one. But there's quality healthcare here.
What about food here in Thailand? You always hear so much about Thai food, you know, and I love Thai food.
Right.
It's one of my favorites.
Thai food is dirt cheap. It depends where you go. Like, within walking distance of here, I have my favorites. Imchan, right at the underneath the Prampong BTS. Yeah, that place, it's great. You can get a delicious, large plate of food that's the thing. Thai folks, they eat 5-6 times a day, very small portions. I kind of eat one big meal a day. Maybe I'll have something small, fruit or whatever. But yeah, when I go to eat, I want a plate of food. You can come into I'll call it an expat bar like this, O'Shea's, although plenty of Thai people come in here and order a big plate of Thai food, but it's going to be $5.
Right.
It'll be $1 on the street or these smaller restaurants. I don't eat a lot of street food. I have, but there's just so many small restaurants, it's the same price. So go sit down, have a fan blowing on you. You know, why, other than they serve your food in a baggie, you know, street food. It's like,
which is fine if you're on your way back to your house or something. You need to grab something on the way.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ate a meal at my home. But I eat on the road. It's just it's cheaper. My buddy teaches college here in town, and he asks his students the same questions every year. I think he's writing a book, kind of 20 years of being a professor in Thailand. And he always asks his students, do you like to cook at home? And the number one answer is always yes, but it's too expensive. You know? Okay. So, I mean, that's kind of the opposite of what you'd hear from most parts of the world. It's I cook at home because it's affordable. But here,
it's cheaper to eat out.
Yeah, you go into the store here and buy a tomato. 2 tomatoes might be like $1.
Oh, okay.
You know, but you can get a delicious plate of food for 80 cents. So, yeah. Okay. Food's affordable.
What about beer? I notice you're drinking a San Mig. It's the beer that made the Philippines famous. So
San Mig is probably the most popular expat beer here. It's San Mig Light.
Because you can't get light beer here, right?
Right. They make it. What are you drinking? Beer Sing or?
Singha.
Yeah. Singha, Leo, Chong, the local beers, they all make lights for Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar. They don't sell them here. All the bartenders say people just don't buy it. I said, well, look around on the table. Every single expat's drinking a San Mig Light. He's like, I don't, you know. I don't make the beer, but he goes, I know they make it. They just don't sell it any of these places yet. These, I think they're like 90 baht, which, what is that in US?
$2.70, $2.70.
That's a happy hour price.
So it's a little higher than, so you can get happy hours in BGC. You can get a bucket of beer, 6 beers, 6 San Miguelites,
right,
for 400 peso.
Okay.
Which is about $8. So that's about, what is that?
$2 a beer?
Not even $2.
Oh, you said 6. I thought you said 4. Here they do buckets, but usually it's promotions like buckets of Heineken, buckets of Corona. And Bangkok is more expensive than other areas.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you
just
can go
the
to
rent.
Pattaya and get one of these for 45 baht, probably 65 baht.
60 baht, the normal price.
Yeah.
80 baht, air conditioning. See, that's the thing is you can't compare in Bangkok anyhow. There's not a lot of open bars. This is a rooftop bar, but downstairs is a ice cold air conditioned bar.
Right.
And it's costing that guy probably 100,000 baht a month to air condition that building, you know. So he has to recoup it in the beer.
Yeah.
But it's always an argument. There's guys that badmouth living in Bangkok, you know. It's like, you guys are wasting money there, you know, 140 baht for a beer.
It's still cheaper than the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, it's
so. Let me give you a quick education on peso to dollar and Thai baht to dollar. So, if you just think of peso, 50 peso to the dollar. So if something is 100 peso, you just basically double that. It's $2.
Okay.
It's 3 to 1 with Thai baht to US dollars, basically. So if something is 50 Thai baht, triple that, it's $1.50.
Yeah, roughly. Right now,
roughly. Right.
The baht fluctuates often. I don't know how much the peso.
Dollar's kind of weak right now because now you don't get as much bang for the buck in your baht or your peso.
Yeah, I hear that term, you know, the dollar being weak. I don't know if it's the dollar's weak or the baht's weak. I don't know because the baht was 37 to $1 2 months ago.
Right.
Today it's 33, 34.
Right.
But I just went to Japan and the dollar's strong against the yen. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's not doing well. So
yeah, so I think the baht's not doing well. I don't know if I don't know if the dollar's weak against the baht. I think the dollar's maintained its value and the baht's dropped
or gone up.
I don't know
because you don't get as much. Anyway, so I just basically, if you can figure 2 to 1 for peso and 3 to 1 for baht,
yeah,
you can roughly get an idea of what things cost. So there you go. So that's
yeah. I don't even think in dollars anymore.
You can if you're going to live here in the Philippines or in Thailand or anywhere in another country, you got to think in the local currency. You got to think in that currency because once you get in that mindset, it's going to be a lot easier to budget. A lot easier to budget.
Agreed. Yeah.
So, anyway, so what else is good about Thailand and in particular Bangkok?
Well, Bangkok is very, very safe. I'm a night owl, so I'll be out walking around 2 a.m. Not a concern in the world.
Right.
There's no. I mean, it's a big city, so I've ran across grifters. I've seen people, and they're not Thai. Especially down probably the most popular tourist areas by Terminal 21, that is Sok BTS. And that area, you really, really have to watch yourself because you'll just see people standing there from all over the world. And they're professional pickpockets and sleight of hand guys. There's a big scam in town, which is, hey, where can I exchange money? And then, that kind of thing. And it's like, right there at the exchange booth, but it's closed. And then you say, no, I'm not exchanging your money.
Right.
And then it'll be like, well, what does the Thai money even look like? And when people go, oh, well, here, it looks like this, and the guy goes, oh, it's orange, blue, whatever. It's sleight of hand. He's stealing your money.
Right. And
I've heard that happen a couple of times. So don't show anybody your money. You know what I mean?
Or they'll do an exchange and then they'll say, no, wait a minute. Instead of giving me that, let's do this. And the next thing you know, you've given them 3 times more than he's.
But these aren't even Thai folks here. These are grifters from wherever, just preying on tourists. And But other than that, I mean,
Yeah, just be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
That's
But it's very safe. There's no roving gangs trying to conk people over the head here, you know, even at 2 a.m. I mean, people get into like the scams of Thailand, the taxi scam and all.
Right.
And I'm like, settle down. I mean,
Happens everywhere.
yeah.
Same in the Philippines.
Yeah,
There's
they all
the
say they
taxi
have a
scam.
broken meter at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So you're spending $3 whole US for that 5-mile ride instead of $1.85. You know, is that a scam? To me, that seems pretty convenient rather than Uber and their 40% surcharge past 2 a.m. and you're paying $100 to get home. You know?
Yeah. Okay, we moved indoors for part 2. It got a little sweaty upstairs outside, but that's Southeast Asia for you. So, all right, let's wrap up the good part of Thailand and Bangkok by talking about Thai women.
Sure.
Let's talk about the good. What's great about Thai women?
I love Thai women. I'm not one of these guys that I hate women from where I'm from or anything like that. I had plenty of nice relationships in the U.S. You know, I was divorced. A lot of people are divorced, but yeah, I am not comparing Thai women to U.S. women, that kind of thing. But yeah, Thai women are incredible. Here in Bangkok, especially, it's more career-oriented women, I guess, from all over Thailand. This is the major city, so this is where they come to go to college, or if they went to college somewhere else, they come here to work at a large company. Okay. So yeah, so it's a lot of career-minded women, yet it's still a little bit like the 1970s, maybe. You know, it's career-minded, but they're ready to shut it down and, you know, go start a family with somebody kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's
so my subscribers are going to want to know what the dating scene is like here. Is it possible for an older retired expat that has a decent pension, you know, and makes decent money for being in, you know, Southeast Asia, either Philippines or Thailand or wherever? Is it possible for them to find a beautiful young Thai girl?
Well, sure it is. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, my girlfriend is, I don't know how, 24, 25 years younger than me. I mean, I didn't plan it that way. I went out with a few ladies that were like 5 or 6 years younger than me. Tinder's kind of the big deal here. I don't know in the Philippines if it's, what is it, Filipino Cupid or something.
Right.
Here, it's all about Tinder.
Okay.
Similar to how it is in the United States or the UK or Australia. Tinder. Everybody meets on Tinder. So that's kind of how it is here. There's some working girls on there as well. But for the most part, plenty of nice, normal people on there. And yeah, the age thing isn't a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. What are they looking for? I mean, in your opinion, you know, you've been here 2.5 years. You dated your girl about what, 6-7 months?
I think so. Yeah. But I dated a lot of girls. Women, 10 years or 10 different ladies, something like that. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but a lot of the more career-oriented kind of Thai ladies, not a lot of them want to go out with a Thai guy.
Okay.
Again, it's a slippery slope, but there's some great Thai guys out there. I have some good Thai buddies, but there's also a lot of Thai guys that like to live off their ladies' income, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're not interested in that so much. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you know, this guy, he's maybe even a little bit older, a little bit more settled down than somebody, quote unquote, my own age, who's still kind of crazy and drinking every night and that kind of thing. So
I thought it was interesting. I interviewed another vlogger, YouTuber. She's from Thailand. She's younger. She's 24. And I asked her about dating, and she said that in her experience, and the Thai girls she knows, they would rather date a foreigner. And when she said foreigner, I asked, "You mean like foreigner as in another Asian, like a Korean or Japanese or Chinese?" And she says, "No, a Western foreigner." light skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, big nose. That's exactly how she put it.
Huh.
And I asked why, and she goes, and I asked age gap. I said, is age gap a deal here? And she says, no, not really, because they look for older foreign men because they're more of the type of person that will take care of them. They're done with the partying like the young guys do. You know, the 20 to 30-year-olds, they still want to do is party.
Right.
And these older guys like you and I, we're done with that. We'll have a beer now and then, but we don't club it all the time, and we don't do any of that. They want somebody that can take charge of a family or a situation, take charge of the couple, to make decisions for each of them, be mature, and that's what they're looking for. So I thought that was interesting that she said that.
Yeah, that's not unreasonable. And a lot of the ladies here in Bangkok, and this is the only experience I have, you know, I've been all over Thailand, but I never really lived there for any length of time. But here, anyhow, you'll oftentimes, let's say you meet a really beautiful woman, she's 40. She'll have already gone out with a couple of other expats, you know, maybe went out with this guy for 5 years and they got divorced or whatever. And then she wants to go out with another expat because it's a little bit, in a lot of cases, it's a little bit of a better life. It's some nice trips that, you know, if she was with a Thai partner, maybe that wouldn't be as affordable. I mean,
Right.
for you and I to take our girlfriend to wherever,
Bali
you know, Bali or
or
whatever,
Japan,
yeah, it's going to be $1,000, but it's doable. You know, it's to.
I'm telling you, it's a hell of a lot cheaper doing it from here than it is doing it from the U.S.
Well, sure. I mean, that's
Just the flight alone is going to kill you.
right. That's one of my main pluses living in Bangkok is I can go to 50 different places for less than $100.
Yeah.
I mean, even I just went to Japan. That was $370 round trip.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And that's probably the high end
yeah.
cost to fly somewhere else in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get from here to Australia for that,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah. So I mean, this is a good place. Other than going back to the U.S., that's a grind, you know. But to go to a million other places, yeah.
Okay, let's move into the bad. And you know, when I say bad, I say good, bad, and ugly. Bad meaning, you know, there might be some things
Sure.
that takes a little getting used to.
Sure.
Like in the Philippines, you know, I did a video the other day about 10 truths about the Philippines, and 9 of them were, you know, you got to deal with traffic, you got to deal with things being out of service, you know, brownouts, things like that.
Sure.
So what's the bad about Thailand or Bangkok?
Well, it's probably similar to the Philippines. I mean, whether you, depending where you're coming from, if you're coming from Florida, although I've had folks, I get to meet a lot of people through the channel, you know, and hey, I'm coming over, let's meet up, have a beer, whatever. And I like to do it. I like to meet people. I mean, you know, it's interesting to me. And maybe I might start doing some interviews myself, you know, with some of the people I meet. It'll be fun. But our crowd took off. But the number one bad thing for me is the weather. Just I'm coming from San Diego. I'm used to zero weather, zero rain. I think one year in San Diego, it rained 3 times in the entire year. 70 degrees every day of the year.
Wow.
It gets cold in the evening or whatever, but here it's hot, 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 like 99% of the time.
Yeah.
I had a subscriber come here from Vegas, and he's like, I thought the heat wouldn't bother me. He goes, this is nowhere
It's
near
different.
Vegas.
a
It's just
different
much,
kind
much
of heat.
hot.
It's a different
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of heat.
Even people from Florida, oh, I'm used to the humidity and all. I don't know if it's a heat and a city thing. You mix in the buildings, you mix in zero
All the
breeze, you
cement,
mix in
all the concrete.
smoggy buses, and it's just, whoa, you know. But after about 6 months, you just get used to it.
That heat can really get to you. You start, by the time you get to where you're going, you're sweating, and I change clothes 2 or 3 times a day.
I do too.
You know, take 2 showers a day because we're out in the heat so much. And
Yeah.
when we were living in the U.S. or in the West, you get spoiled with all the AC. You're never out in the heat unless you're out at the beach or somewhere. So it's really, I suppose if we had to walk everywhere in the U.S., we would get used to that heat.
I mean,
maybe. But that's just my theory.
Yeah, they're painting my building right now. So they're hanging over the side of the building on bosun's chairs, painting the building. And I'm sitting in my nice air-conditioned condo, looking at these poor guys in the sun on the side of the building. And that's a problem. Me walking to a bar is not a problem.
Right.
Or me walking to get some food, suck it up.
Yeah, put it into perspective.
I mean, we're not roofing in Bangkok.
Right.
I mean, I don't think anybody watching this channel is coming over here to be a roofer in Bangkok. So
right, exactly.
It's not that big a deal. But if I'm being picky, the weather. Traffic, of course, this is a major city. Traffic is bad, but we have an incredible train system here. You just need to learn how to use it. I ride, it's a little controversial with the motorbikes. Because it gets a little sketchy when you're sitting on the back of that motorbike and he's swerving through traffic. And I mean, we've clipped mirrors. I've clipped a knee on a bumper. I mean, it's just but it's a great way to get around town fast when you're sitting in a taxi.
For not much money. Here's 20, 30 baht. Take me home.
I mean, so I do it. I risk it. Most of them will have a spare helmet. I do put the helmet on. I'm normally wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Flip-flops, so if we go down, I mean, great, I saved my head, but everything else is going to be road rashed. But you just got to roll with the flow. You can't change Thailand.
Roll with the changes, as REO Speedwagon said. So, okay, so let's get to anything else bad that you can think of about Thailand or Bangkok. Traffic, of course, but it's still not as bad as Manila.
I don't know if I'd call them bad, but
the heat, obviously. But you got to, you have to understand if you're planning on coming here, if you don't like the heat, don't come here.
Right.
You're never going to get used to it.
Well,
if you're one of those people that live in the U.S. and it's like, oh, I can't stand summer. Oh, I can't wait.
This
you're
isn't
not
the
going to
place
like
for
it
you.
here because it's summer year round here.
Exactly.
It's never going to be winter here.
In Bangkok,
only by calendar.
In Bangkok, around the holidays, sometimes. And this last year, it didn't even happen. It was just hot all through the holidays. But like the year before, it was like 60 degrees, every day for like 3 weeks. And kind of little chill in the air. It felt great, but then it immediately went back to heat. Right. And I mean, but that, you're not going to get that here. So that you're going to have to suck it up on the weather if you want to get out of expensive wherever and come to Southeast Asia, the Philippines. You're going to be dealing with weather and humidity. But again, you're not out roofing in the weather, so it's not.
Let's talk about the ugly.
The ugly.
Ugly about Thailand or Bangkok.
Yeah,
we could talk. We talked about this off camera.
Yeah, I keep pretty. I'm a pretty positive guy. I'm not much of a complainer about that's horrible to me or this or that. I mean, not a lot bothers me. I think we even spoke about this earlier today. I don't know if we were filming. Some of the expats, and I'm an expat. I don't mean to be, I'm a perfect expat and this other guy, he's doing it wrong or this or that. Right. But there are guys that clearly do things wrong.
Right.
These are probably guys that were bad guys in the UK or Canada or Australia, wherever they're from, or America, and now they're here being bad guys.
Yeah.
So it's just pointed out a little bit more here, because when you're in the U.S. and some guy's being a jackass in a restaurant or a bar, well, he's just an idiot.
Jackass, yeah.
But here,
it sticks out more.
He's representing expats.
Yeah. And not just his country, but all expats.
Exactly.
All Westerners. If he's light-skinned, if he's Westerner. It's like, and then you get pigeonholed in with that group. You get set in that group, and it's like, oh, I'll bet he's American. Or I'll bet he's Canadian.
Well, it's funny because I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole because I don't know what I'm talking about, but you're right. There are expats that judge other expats, and I hate that.
Right.
That to me is ugly. I can't stand, and I get it when everybody's drinking beers and this guy's 10 beers in and he starts shooting his mouth off about, oh, you're just moving here? Oh, don't even bother. I mean, Bangkok's dead. You should have been here 15 years ago,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. This guy, for whatever reason, to make himself feel good about himself, he can't wait to run you down and, oh, no, I'm going to move here. This is going to be great. Or, that to me is ugly. You know what I mean? And I see it often. I'll say 99% of guys are normal, but there is that 1% of ugliness, and they stand out 10,000 fold because they're that one jackass, in a bar that's insulting the Thai staff or throwing money at them or whatever.
Yeah.
You go
Or getting upset about a service charge on their bill.
Yeah, there's a thing. Service charges, or people don't understand the bill, or they get drunk and I don't know. It's almost like there's some guys that think they're going to be scammed everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not scamming or taking advantage of me. I'll show you. You know what I mean? And they drank 10 beers. It's 10 beers on their tab, and then it's a small service charge. Okay, don't tip. That's the tip, whatever. I normally still tip a little extra on it, a whole whopping 100 baht, it's $2.80, but that might be my server's bus fare for the next week or whatever.
Sure,
What is that to me? It's nothing. But to her, that might be her bus fare.
Here's two uglies that happen in the Philippines a lot. You get people that live in like BGC where I live, or in Metro Manila, or
What's the difference between Metro Manila and BGC?
Well, BGC is part of a city called Taguig.
Okay.
And Taguig's part of they call it the NCR, National Capital Region, which is basically Metro Manila.
So if you
it's
live,
like 17 different
so if
cities.
you live out by the airport, you're still in Metro Manila.
Yeah,
but
there's
you're
Manila
not BGC.
proper. There's Manila proper, and then there's all these cities. They're like suburbs of Manila.
Yeah.
Like if you lived in Chicago, and my sister lives in Carpentersville, it's a city in itself, but it's a suburb of Chicago.
Right.
It's part of the region.
Well, San Diego's 50 square miles.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like in the Philippines, in Manila, you've got all these little cities around it that's still basically Metro Manila. So BGC is just basically a district within a city. And it's
like we're sitting here in
it's
Prom we're in Prom Pong of Bangkok.
Yeah, it's a smart city, basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a 15-minute city. You can walk anywhere in 15 minutes.
Got it.
But anyway, so we got people that live there, expats that live there, and they love it because it's convenient. It's got all the amenities, the Western, food and all that. And you got people that live in these provinces, these expats that live in provinces that are, maybe their monthly expenditures are $800 a month.
Yeah.
Where in BGC it might be $1,800 a month to live there, a decent life. And they're bitching. It's like, oh, you shouldn't live. BGC isn't really the Philippines, and so you get that element.
Yeah, we get that here.
The other element you get, that's the ugly part of expats living in the Philippines, is the ones that go there to exploit the young Filipina.
Yeah.
And I call them the true passport bros. They're there for one reason, and that's to go and have their way with as many Filipinos as they can, and then they take off and do their own thing. And that's the ugly part of expats.
I don't think there's as much of that here. I don't know. I'm not educated enough to speak on it, but it seems like there's more young, innocent farm girls in the Philippines that are just kind of like, oh, this is my knight in shining armor kind of guy. Where in Thailand, it's kind of like, what's this guy up to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, are we kind
skeptical
of on the same page? You know what I mean? But it's going to be, oh, you want me to marry you? Okay, where's your life insurance policy? Where's
your
this?
Where's your residence? Because I noticed in Thailand
a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not like again, I don't want to put down Filipino girls or whatever, but I think there's a little bit more innocence, a little bit more this, a little bit more opportunity for some of them to be taken advantage of. Where even some of the farm girls here kind of be.
I noticed from talking to other people, other vloggers and Thai girls and guys that live here, that Thai girls are more interested in, are you living here?
Sure.
Rather than just visiting. They're not looking for a holiday boyfriend, in other words.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of women.
Well, I mean, you can get the transactional ones, so they're all over the place. But I'm talking about people that truly want a relationship in Thailand and even in Vietnam. They're not looking for somebody. I'm just here for the weekend. Oh, well, good luck. They're not going to, unless they're transactional, they're not going to date you. But if you're like, oh, I live here,
right,
then they're more open to actually seeing you, dating you.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my main ugly thing. I mean, I was with some buddies, Soy Cowboy, big red light district here in Bangkok, and
I've never been there.
It's it's expensive, just like any strip club or whatever. But it's not crazy expensive. I think, but the one thing they do, which is a little annoying, is they'll charge double price for ladies' drinks. Mm-hmm. Like if a lady orders a screwdriver, it's vodka and orange juice. That's 2 drinks. So if a lady's drink is 300 baht, that screwdriver is 600 baht. And guys will sit there on their 10th beer, ladies drink, and then they get this tab for $200 US. Mm. Then they start throwing a fit because they think they've been taken advantage of. I mean, you can't do that here. You're never going to win,
right? Because
you're some big guy standing up yelling and screaming.
You're fighting the establishment.
You're going to get a cattle prod, and it's not going to work out for you. You're not going to get your money back. I mean, just if that upset you, pay your bill. Don't go back in there again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or understand lesson learned, whatever it is. Yet there's ugliness out there. Guys that like want to fight. Almost like I'll knock you out for trying to rip me off.
If you're in a go-go bar or a bar girl bar, wherever, those places where the girls will come up to you and ask for a drink, you're gonna spend easily double for that girl's drink, so she'll sit with you and be your companion for that night, or as long as the drink lasts. But also know that these girls, they work on. Some of these girls, some of these bars, these girls are required to have a minimum number of drinks bought for them
most of them
to make their goal. And if they don't hit their goal, they have to pay the difference.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I hate to even look at it this way, but it goes, I hate to even say this, but it's like you're an A girl, you're a B girl, you're a C girl.
Right.
A girl, 20 ladies drinks a night. I'm making up the numbers.
Yeah.
B girl, 10 ladies drinks. C girl, you have to do 5 lady drinks. And you're exactly right. If you don't get your ladies drinks, it comes out of your small salary.
Right.
It's like, this isn't a library. Get out there and sell some drinks. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, we're adults here. Basically, the drinks are a job interview if you want to go off and where she makes the real money. Yeah, so bottom line is as far as ugliness, and I don't know who these people are, if they live here, if they're visiting here. They're probably visiting here. I think folks that live in the Philippines figure it out pretty quick. I think you're a special kind of idiot to move to the Philippines and be there for 3 years and still be arguing about.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I guess.
There's people that live there a lot longer than that, and they still can't figure it out.
Well, I'm sure it's that way here, too.
And they're just miserable. And I always say, if you're miserable in your home country, don't move to another country and think you're not going to bring your misery with you, because you will. If you're a miserable person on the inside, you're going to be miserable no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
So just release all that. Just enjoy life.
Yeah.
That's why I want to close here. I want to do your 30-second elevator speech for moving to Thailand or Bangkok.
Sure. Well, I mean, I just love Bangkok because to me it's New York City, the energy of New York City. It has everything. If you're into, I don't know, ballet, there's ballet here. If you're into bowling, there's half dozen bowling alleys.
2 Muay Thai stadiums.
There's 2 major professional, the home of Muay Thai in Thailand, and I think Muay Thai started in Thailand maybe, but the home of it is this you went there, right? It's this
Yeah.
Rajadarmi Stadium. I mean, you
Yeah,
go there and it's like,
fun.
yeah, it's as fun as going to like UFC or whatever, but it's like $15. And there's some nights where you can go, and I don't know, my buddies have gone twice, and I don't know if it's a special Thursday night or something, but it's like all you can drink Leo. It's like Leo night. Leo's local beer. So everybody's sitting up in the stands, hooting and hollering. There's usually like 10 matches, and they're televised. It's a lot of fun. But everything's here. If you're into jazz, there's a dozen jazz bars.
Great music venues here. Live
Two
music.
major airports. I mean, we got the old international Don Muang and the newish Suvarnabhumi. Go anywhere in the world, cheap, cheap, cheap. I mean, I have nothing but time for sitting here buying my airline tickets for the next 3 months. It's like, all right, we're gonna go to Cambodia here. It's $7 each way, so lock those in. If we don't go, who cares? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I lost $40, but if you do go, it's a great deal. Just the energy. I'm a Bangkok guy. Other parts of Thailand are great. Pattaya is our Angeles City or the old Subic Bay or whatever. That's the party area. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit too much party for me. I mean, I couldn't live there. I party too much in Bangkok. But I'm not talking about bar girls and all. I have a girlfriend right now. I'm just talking about drinking too much, and it's just a city of thousands of bars. That's Pattaya. It's right on the beach. But there are cities on either side. They're just like mellow beach towns, yet you're 20 minutes to go to Pattaya and get crazy. There's just so many options in Thailand and in Bangkok. I mean, I just love it.
Now, if the big city's not your thing, then Bangkok's probably not your thing.
Right.
But Thailand's got small venues also, small
Right.
places too.
Oh, the islands. I mean,
Hua Hin is a beautiful beach.
yeah, that's a beachside
small,
community
kind of a retirement community, so it's a little more laid back. It's
and cheaper. I mean,
a lot cheaper.
yeah. I mean, you can if I don't know, Hua Hin's in the back of my head for if I ever get tired of the hustle and bustle, I'll go there and rent a house or one of these houses. There's like a 3-story house.
Yeah.
You can rent like a nice little house for like $400.
Yeah, it's super cheap. Yeah.
Have the air conditioning running pretty much the entire time you're there. It's less than $100 a month.
Yeah.
No brownouts, none of that. We don't have any of that here. I mean, that's a big deal in a lot of parts of the Philippines, right? The weekly brownout. That would stink, not having air conditioning for 5 hours on a Friday
12
afternoon.
hours sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would suck, yeah.
I've lived here 2.5 years, and I was telling you, my power blinked one time, and then you hear the fire engines because it was a transformer that blew up or something. But yeah, we have some crazy wires here, when you walk spaghetti wires. But most of that is coax cable. For the old cable TV and all.
For 30 years, and nobody's ever removed it. Yeah, that's the same as the Philippines.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on my channel. Once again, it's Joe from Eager Expat. Check out his channel because it's very informative as far as the neighborhoods in Bangkok. If you're interested in moving here or even visiting, he'd be the channel to check out. And again, thanks for
cheers. Yeah, and
I
don't pretend to be any kind of expert on Thailand.
We're not
or
experts.
Bangkok,
we just share our experience.
I'm just a guy living here, and I'm just telling you what happened to me. You know what I mean? And I blink my eyes. I've been here 2.5 years, and it seems like I've been here a couple of months. You know what I mean? Time flies.
I know it does.
Yeah,
when you're having fun.
But check out channels like ours, and do a little armchair investigation, and
there you go.
Come check it out.
Come out, yeah, absolutely.
Check out the Philippines. Stay there for a while. Come to Thailand. I don't know anything about living in. You're thinking about moving to some other places. I don't know anything about living in Vietnam, Cambodia. There's all kinds of places to live affordably.
A lot of options.
You just have to have an open mind, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep your mind open. You can't be one of these guys that I go home and drink 3 Bud Lights every night, and that's how it's got to be. You're not going to find a Bud Light over here. Budweiser, but it's probably brewed here somewhere, and you're going to be, this doesn't taste like Budweiser from St. Louis. Well, no kidding. It's Budweiser from Vietnam, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? See, you can't be that guy, but you can come over here and have a great life.
Just adjust. All right.
That's for sure.
All right. Have a great one. Until next time, mabuhay, my friend. Live life, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.